Thanks for joining in the 2 Cents, my podcast. I'm your man, Nino. First of all, thank the man again for waking me up to journey out on another day. Please, people, continue to hit that like button. Keep them subscriptions coming. I appreciate you a must. I appreciate you people a lot. To my fans, my audience, and my listeners, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you continuing this fantastic voyage, this fantastic ride with me. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for commenting on my topics, whether they're negative or positive. Man, this is crazy. Really, it could have been ugly. In the backyard of an Alberquerque, New Mexico residence, the law's authorities moved in to attempt to apprehend guns out of the hands of 2 young boys. One of the young kids was 7 years old and the other was 9 years old. The troubling video shows that the Bernalillo County deputies to disarm safely 2 boys holding a handgun. What is the problem with this? This is already plenty red flags. First of all, people, as I say this, as I just read that off, always be aware that your kids are smarter than what you think they are. You think you're getting one over on them, but kids are very smart and they're slick and manipulative too. You think that they're not picking up on things, but they are. How in the world, with the laws and the destructions of guns and handguns, that 2 kids, 7 and 9 years old, will get a hold of a handgun? Where is the parental guidance? Where is the parenthood out of this? Where is the mother? Where is the father? But I'm going to get to this. But how could them 2 young boys, 7 and 9 years old, first of all, get a hold of a gun? I'd rather my 7 and 9 years old would be somewhere playing PlayStation or doing something like that. These kids are just way ahead of the game. But again, this must be the environment they're around, because they are getting hold of guns. They are having guns in their possession. So already there is a big, that's a big red flag. Something has to be done about this, because this is crazy. This really could have been something that tragic, but again, it wasn't bad as it seemed it was. But this should be a warning to all parents, again, with their kids. Put your firearms up. I would even say, if you got some kids, maybe put your firearm, don't even put your firearm inside your house. If you got a garage or whatever, put your firearms in your garage. I know you might need a gun to keep safety, because sometimes you have to take the law in your own hand. But put your firearms outside of the house or where you stand if the kids are going to be in there, because kids are very smart and they pick up on things. And they are not naive as you think they are. Believe me, they're not. With the usage of a drone footage, let you see the boys are 7 and 9 years old. The incident occurred February the 16th, 2025. But now the public, the nation, and the masses are just seeing what happened, and it was just released. Okay, right there again. Okay, this is May. This incident happened February the 16th. What's really going on here? I mean, did the Bernalillo County deputy authorities, did they drop the ball, or what's going on here? Because what is the hold up? Why this is now being released? What is it? Because really it came out okay. It could have been more bad. It could have been tragic more than what it was. But why are y'all just now releasing it? What is the hold up from Alberquerque, New Mexico? Again, I got to look at the 2 young kids. They look like they was our Latino descent. They look like their nationality or their origin or their ethnicity. They look like, again, they was of Latino descent. But February the 16th, and now you're just dropping this, or you're just letting this release. So obviously it must be more than this, it must be more to this than what we're seeing, or it must be something that they probably still are withholding, because I just don't understand this. This doesn't add up. But again, no way them young boys should have had that gun or them two guns in their possession. Even if them two boys just had one gun, how are them two kids in possession of a gun or a weapon? And why them two kids wasn't in school? Now, February 16th, I haven't looked up. It might have been a weekend or something like that. But where is the parental guidance again? Where is the supervision? Where is the mom? Where is the dad? What's really going on? I mean, what's really going on? The two kids were very adamant and very persistent on getting the gun, pointing the gun at the deputy sheriff and squeezing the trigger. They was very, very persistent about that, which let me know one or two things. First of all, they have seen this kind of behavior around before, from where it could be their mom or their dad, or well, it's been around the environment they're in, because the one kid was saying he's not going to even put down the gun. He was really pointing the gun and really trying to squeeze the trigger, but unfortunately, the young man was too small and he wasn't strong enough. But you know, a trigger has a little bit of resistance, so he wasn't able to squeeze it. But he was pointing at the sheriff's officers, and also he was trying to squeeze the trigger. And you know, that was just crazy in itself. Sheriff officers first calmly tried to tell the young kid to put the gun down. But again, they refused. They was very hard-headed. They didn't put the gun. So at first the sheriff, the deputy was like, put the gun down very calmly. But as they seen that this problem is probably going to escalate and get worse and worse, now the sheriff officers are getting very meaningful and very adamant in what their request is. Put the gun down, because now this is not a plaything. And so, again, I mean, this is crazy. The police officers should have been commended for eventually defusing and de-escalating the incident. Secondly, that single mom should be counting her blessings, thanking her maker. Those boys weren't shot. And what I have to ask now is, where is the father? But it was reported he is incarcerated. So reports also say the police officers did a yeoman job of trying to keep their cool and never just let it get really out of control. But I know policemen. I have seen them before. They don't take kindly of nobody pointing their gun or trying to shoot at them. I don't care what the circumstances. I don't care what the age is. That mother should really be thankful on her knees, praying to the man upstairs that her two kids wasn't taken out. Reports was, I also heard that the officers had let off a round of not real bullets, but this bullets that kind of, you know, just, I guess, to try to scare the kids to drop the gun or what. It wasn't actual bullets that can hurt you, but it was like fake bullets, you know. So I heard that too was in a report. But I mean, this is real interesting. This is a real interesting story that happened. And again, the father was incarcerated, and the mother, the single mother, was, you know, nowhere around to let the kids get the guns. I mean, what's she doing on her watch again? What's up with her? But also it is reported that police had 50 different calls to pull up at that residence in Alberquerque, New Mexico. So again, looks like it's been a long history of domestic violence or domestic abuse at that residence. So I guess these kids, no telling what them young men are seeing on a daily basis. 50 calls at one residence. I mean, I guess that's why the father is incarcerated. But again, even if it's domestic abuse, what is going on with the mother? And I'm not saying she is doing nothing wrong, but she's a perpetrator, or maybe she is the victim. But 50 calls at one resident, that is a lot of calls to be coming to one resident. Well, by that time, 50 calls, by the time they got that many calls, somebody should have stepped in, see if they can give some help, some assistance, see what needed to be done. Because this is just a reoccurring event. This is happening all the time. 50 calls, I mean, that's a lot of calls. That many calls, the police probably, all they have to see, all the dispatchers have to say is probably that address, and they probably already know what was going on, and they say they're on their way to it. So it's crazy. They said it was no charges that will be given or given out. And my get back on that was, how is there no charges? I mean, come on, man. CPS, this is a slam dunk case. These kids are having guns in their possession. It has already been 50 calls at this one particular residence. Whether the mother is a victim or not, still, CPS, you need to jump in, because at this point, she's not watching the kids appropriately, and she's not keeping an eye on them. So somebody needs to take them. CPS needs to jump in and take control much quicker. I have seen instances where it hasn't even been to the extent of what this matter is, and CPS has stepped in, got involved, and took matters in their own hands. So how, again, it wasn't no charges brought up against even the mother? I'm talking about, because even at this time, if the father is incarcerated still, the mother should have been brought up on negligence or something. How is this mother just getting by without nothing get slapped? How is she getting by with just a slap on the wrist? Why is she not being taken accountable for giving issue warnings, or even taken to jail, or her kids are taken for her? Because this thing is really happening too much. I mean, these young kids is probably seeing or in an environment that's totally beyond their control, and they don't know what to do. Something needs to be done, because if 7 and 9-year-old kids are running around brandishing guns and pointing guns at people, where 7 and 9-year-old kids usually be playing video games or in sports or doing something, their mind is already ahead of like a criminal. I'm just going to be point blank. I hate to say it. It's their mind is already on the level of a criminal. Maybe that's why maybe that's why the authorities didn't report this until months later, even though it happened back in February. Me, myself, I think it's a cover-up, because why are you holding back on this? Why have this hit the media sooner when it first happened? What is taking so long? Why has it been held back? Because this is just terrible. I don't understand this at all. To me, the mother should be questioned, and also there should be more questions from the BSCO. The Bernalillo County Sheriff Department should have more questioning, or be more questioning and answering, because it's this word how this has been put on the back burner, and now you just now getting this, and now this is just hitting the airwaves. I don't understand this. Yeah, something ain't right about this. And I'm gonna say this, and I hate to go there, because I wouldn't, but I'm gonna go there. If this, what I believe was my kind, African American, first of all, it wouldn't have been put on the back burner this long. And second of all, 7, 9, 17, 19, 27, 29. African American kids was pointing that gun and trying to squeeze that trigger at them police officers. I'm just gonna say this. I wonder would the same action been taken as the action been taken on them young kids in Alberquerque, New Mexico. I'm just going to put that out there. And I'm not trying to start nothing, but I know how things are in this world. Because again, the police don't take kindly to nobody pointing a gun, trying to squeeze a trigger at them. And I know them are little kids or babies. I know they shouldn't have got shot, but still, police are trained and taught when somebody pointing a gun at them or somebody trying to squeeze the trigger while they point their gun at them, they supposed to take action where they're, like you're trying to take their life. And most of the time, how do police react when you point a gun at them and try to take their life? They start firing off. I'm glad they didn't fire off and kill them young kids because they are still young kids. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they didn't fire off. I applaud the police again for the drone, for using a drone to, to simmer the whole situation down. They did it right. But it's just still a lot of holes in this case where I don't think maybe we getting the full extent, maybe we getting accurately the full truth out of this. Because February 16th, and now you're just reporting, okay, again, you say no charges are given to the lady. If the father is incarcerated, why is this woman is just getting by without nothing happening to her? Because even if she was a victim of domestic abuse, she should have been held accountable for what happened that day, February 16th, when them kids had that gun. Them two young boys was pointing that gun and trying to squeeze the trigger, especially at the police. So, still, I think it's some holes in this case. We really don't know. A lot of times they will report only what you want. They report only what they want you to know instead of reporting the truth. But it was just interesting to me. It could have really got ugly. Two young kids, 7 and 9 years old, basically in a standoff with police, pointing a gun at them, couldn't squeeze the trigger. But, they handled it well. I understand the police. They handled it well. I will give them that because I don't care of no race, creed, or color. I wouldn't want to kill no kids. They have still their full life ahead of them. Whether it's African American, whether it's Caucasian, Latino, whether it's German, Cuban, or whatever. I wouldn't want to kill no kids. But it's just interesting. But it really could have got ugly. 2 cents, my podcast. I'm your man Nino. Thank you.